Hi everyone, I'm working on a thrifted plaid shirt. It is 100% cotton. I believe it's like a size medium large and has the long sleeves. I'm going to do just a simple design, I believe on the back of this, and then maybe do a little bit in the front. I really thought this was kind of cool where it has a piece of lace on the neckline, and so I'm going to add a little bit of lace to the design. I have this floral that the colors I just really like with it. So I'm going to be using some of this. And then I also just recently purchased another bike. I've got a few bike stencils, but I really liked this one with the basket and the flowers. And so I'm going to link it down below for you, but this is what I'm going to use, and I think I'm going to put it on the back. So let's get started. I do have a piece of fabric here that I'm going to be working with, and this is where the stencil is going to go. I'm going to back that with a fusible fleece, so I'm just going to press that on first of all. And then I'll set this piece aside and work on the flowers. I'm going to be putting a heat and bond light on the back of the flowers. It's so much easier to cut flowers out when there's paper involved, especially these small shapes. You could also use freezer paper and then tack them on with a glue stick. I love these scissors. I'm going to be linking those down below too. I love them for cutting out little pieces, and so they're just great. Now on to the stencil. I am using my archival inks. I'm having a couple, 3 or 4 different colors there, and I'll link all those down below as well, and the colors that I use. Love using these inks because they are waterproof and permanent. And I'm using my they're like an oval makeup brush, and it's just a really good way to get that ink through the stencil. I find it's easier to control the ink than it is paint, but acrylic paint would also work. This has got some little pieces to this stencil, so I keep lifting up the stencil and just making sure that I'm getting what I need to get. And now I'm on to my other color. This is, I believe, called Orange Blossom. I just want to get that basket. I thought that was a cute color for the basket. And also the shirt has some of that color in it. And the black for the wheels. And then I do switch to like a smoke gray for the spokes. And here's the reveal. This is always the fun part, just to see the little design just pop and come to life. I did not add the balloons. Those the bike did have a bouquet of balloons that I did not put on there. I put that little piece of lace aside. I am going to add that, but I'm going to add that later. And I'm just going to stick my flowers and just arrange my little bouquet here. I love that purple flower because there's purple in this shirt, so I wanted to make sure I got that set in front of right in that basket. I'm just going to add a few to the back of the bicycle too. And then when I have my arrangement somehow how I want it, I'm going to remove that paper on the back side of these flowers. And then I'm going to iron these on. Slip that mat underneath there so I don't ruin my cutting mat. And just give them a quick iron just to activate that glue. Now, if you're using Steam Seam 2 for a paperback adhesive, you're going to want to use a lot of steam at this point. You don't want the needle to get gummed up. You do need to use steam for the Steam Seam 2. Now onto the front of the shirt, I'm just going to add the lace first because I think that flower is going to go over the lace somewhat. So I am going to take this to my sewing machine and I'm just going to straight stitch this lace on right at that yoke seam. And now I just can't leave anything alone. So I thought I'm going to add this stamp, and it says, be happy, think happy, be happy, or something like that. And I know what, and I stamped this right on the project, and I knew that if this didn't work out, I could fix it. And I didn't like it. And so you'll see me, yeah, you'll see me try to fix it here. I just didn't think it imprinted as just as not as good as I would have liked. And also it was a little crooked, which is something I always tend to do. And so I'm going to just restamp that onto another piece of fabric. And I chose like a bright white fabric, just so I can maybe get the letters to pop a little bit better. One thing wonderful about sewing and doing anything like this is if you know how to sew, you can usually fix something. And so I'm just covering this up with this other piece of fabric. And I do end up putting some of that fusible fleece in the back of this too, so that first impression doesn't show through. But I like this one much better, and I'm gonna cut it down to size somewhat and then add some cute flowers around it too. So it's just gonna look like a little sign on the design. And this is what it's gonna look like. And like I said, I'm gonna add a flower right to the corner of that. And now back to the front. This floral cluster just fits really nice there. The little bit of the leaves fall down over the lace, which I think looks kind of fun. The colors are just great for this shirt. I'm gonna get that into place on both sides. Now to get my flowers on, I am putting these on with my free motion stitching. So my feed dogs are dropped and I have my free motion foot on. And I have a color, just a cream colored thread on this. I mean, I'm going outlining, but I'm also filling in some of the little marks inside the leaves. When I do this, my stitch length is automatically set to 0 when I drop my feed dogs. But if machine isn't like that, I would set the length to 0. The stitch width is at 0 right now too. And I just take off. It takes a little bit of hand-eye coordination. I think the most important thing is you have to move your fabric constantly when you are, and then you have even feed, even movement, even speed, and you can do this. And move to the front, and I'm also going to just do a little frame on this sign, and I'm really going wonky on it. I don't want to, I could have straight stitched it with my regular foot too, but I just kind of did a wonky frame on that. And then filling in getting all these flowers, also just thread doodling and just playing around with them and getting the stitches in there. I attached the lace. I'm going to spray the back of this with the 505 temporary spray, just to get that attached to the shirt before I take it to the sewing machine. I'm going to find the center of the center back at that yoke top, and then also the bottom, and I put a pin there just to make sure I get this on straight. And then I'll smooth it out. And I'm going to take this to the sewing machine, and I used my applique stitch, looks like a blanket stitch. And I left the bottom open. I did not stitch across the bottom so that lace just hangs kind of free. But I did the sides and the top. I have some pictures at the end, everybody. I love the colors of this shirt, and those flowers just matched really well. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you have a chance to create this week. Bye for now.